Welcome to the CommVault channel. In this video we will discuss CommVault version 11, Storage Policy Secondary Copy. Please like, share, comment or suggest. Subscribe for more videos, and you can follow us on Instagram. Before we proceed, we want you to go through our other video, Storage Policy Primary Copy, because similar tabs are not discussed in this video. Expand policies. Expand storage policies. Select the policy for which you wish to create a secondary copy. Right-click on the policy. All tasks. Select Create New Copy. Copy Properties window helps you to view or change the properties of a storage policy copy. Copy information. Copy name is the name of the copy. Primary copy, if selected, then this is the primary copy for the storage policy. If cleared, this copy is a secondary copy. If needed, you can make a secondary copy as primary, and vice versa. Active means that this copy is in use and can transfer data to or from the media. If not selected, the copy is disabled and data cannot be copied to the media. However, data can still be pruned even if it is not copied. Selective Copy. If not selected, the copy is a synchronous copy, which means that everything from the primary copy, including full, differential, and incremental backups, are copied to the secondary copy. If selected, only full backups are copied from the primary copy to the secondary copy, based on the criteria selected in the Selective Copy tab, which we will discuss in few minutes. Worm Copy. If selected, prevents the deletion of data that is not qualified for aging. Once enabled, Worm Copy cannot be disabled, and the data retention cannot be lowered on existing data. Enable Deduplication. You can enable deduplication if this policy destination media is disk library. Select the default destination, a disk library. You are now able to enable deduplication. If selected, only one copy of a file is physically stored in the library, and reference counts for subsequent copies of the file is maintained. Subsequent copies of the file are found in subsequent data protection or auxiliary copy operations using this copy. The reference counts are stored in a deduplication database, which can be configured using the Deduplication tab. Use Global Deduplication Policy to associate storage policy copy to a global deduplication policy that is available in the list. Use Global Secondary Copy Policy to associate storage policy copy to a global secondary copy policy that is available in the list. At the moment we do not have any global secondary copy policies available to be associated with this copy. Retention of Global Secondary Copy Policy is the retention period that is configured for the global secondary copy policy, to which the secondary copy is associated. Override the retention settings for this copy. Select this option if you want to configure different retention rules for this storage policy copy. Selecting this option will enable the Retention tab, from where you can configure specific retention rules for this storage policy copy. Default destination is where the secondary copy is stored. The name of the preferred library, to which backup data from this copy is directed. The media agent for the destination library. The drive pool name of the specified library, to which backup data for the primary copy is directed. The name of the scratch pool from which this storage policy copy obtains new media. It appears that the backup tool is recommending using Selective Copy for this policy. We want to proceed with Synchronous Copy, so let's disable this option. Hardware encryption. Direct media access via media password. When selected, hardware encryption of data, with a copy of the encryption key stored in the media, will be enabled on all data paths with tape drives. Please note, enable this option only when the drives associated with the data path support encryption. If this option is enabled, and the hardware does not support encryption, jobs using the data path will fail. We have already discussed the retention tab in our other video, hence let's skip this. Copy Policy tab. Backup selection. Select either all backups, or a backups on and after date, to the secondary copy. All backups. If selected, all backup data will be copied from the primary copy, to the secondary copy. If cleared, the backups on and after field is enabled. Please note, if cleared and clicked OK, then you cannot reselect the All Backups checkbox. Backups on and after. If selected, only the backup data, after the specified date will be copied from the primary copy, to the secondary copy. This date can be on, before, or after the current CommServe date. Specify source for auxiliary copy. Specifies the source copy that will be used in the place of a primary copy, during the auxiliary copy operation. Default source copy is the primary copy. Copy configuration. Parallel copy. If you have multiple secondary copies, then enabling this option specifies that data can be copied to multiple secondary copies concurrently, rather than sequentially. Inline copy. The warning says that this copy and the primary copy must utilize or share the same media agent. This option specifies that, when a data protection operation is performed, data will be backed up to this copy, in addition to the primary copy. Do not make inline copy to same library. Prevent jobs from being copied to the same library, during inline copy operations. Pick data from running backup jobs. When selected, auxiliary copy job will use Scalable Resource Allocation option. The data available on the primary copy is picked for copy, by the running auxiliary copy job. For this to work you need to have, use Scalable Resource Allocation option enabled, for the policy. This option causes the auxiliary copy operation, to create the secondary copy faster. This option saves time for the auxiliary copy operation, especially when the backups running are huge. Please pay attention to the notes. Space-optimized auxiliary copy is available if the Enable Deduplication is selected in the General tab, to optimize the deduplication percentage on the storage policy copy. Defer auxiliary copy for n days. Specifies that data can be copied to this copy, only after an n amount of days, after the data was backed up. Data paths and data path configuration tabs will be discussed in a while. Auxiliary copy fallen behind. Enable auxiliary copy fallen behind alert. Is enabled by default, and helps us to configure the thresholds, for the auxiliary copy fallen behind alert, which will be triggered, when the following criteria are met for this copy policy. To be copied data is over, NTB. This option is selected by default, and the threshold is set to 25 TB by default. You can configure the threshold, based on your requirement. You will receive an alert, when the data to be copied for this storage policy copy, exceeds the specified threshold. Please note, the data to be copied is calculated based on the application data size. Jobs that are over n days old, and have not yet been fully copied. When selected, you receive an alert, if the number of days that the jobs have not been copied exceeds the specified number of days. More than n hours required to copy all data. When selected, you receive an alert, if the system predicts that the auxiliary copy operation will exceed the number of hours specified. Please note, if the auxiliary copy fallen behind alert is not enabled on the storage policy copy, and there are auxiliary jobs that are 90 days old and have not yet been fully copied, then an event is generated to notify the condition. The auxiliary copy fallen behind alert notification type and message information must be configured from the alert wizard. Also note, if you do not select to be copied data is over NTB option, you will receive an alert, and a warning icon appears for the storage policy, in the storage policy copy when the data to be copied exceeds the default threshold of 25 TB. We will discuss Selective Copy option in a bit. Associations tab. From here you can select the clients, agents, backup sets, or subclients, whose backup data should be copied to this copy. Please pay attention to the notes. Media tab. Optimize media usage. Combine source data streams to end streams. Allows you to specify the number of streams that an auxiliary copy operation can be combined to. If not selected, the auxiliary copy operation will copy the data using multiple data streams. If one stream is selected, then the auxiliary copy operation will copy the data from all streams to one data stream. If more than one stream is selected, the auxiliary copy operation will split and copy the data from all streams to defined data streams. Multiplexing source streams. If disabled, backups to the same media must be run individually. If enabled, backups of multiple data streams can be run concurrently to the same media. Multiplexing factor is how many data streams from this policy are to be backed up concurrently to the same media. You might also see option, use device streams rather than multiplexing if possible. If kept disabled, all the data streams are copied to one drive, and once it is filled up, moves to the next drive, like fill and spill. If enabled, the data streams are copied to each available drives first, and then fills up with used up drives, like spill and fill. Write to a different library compared to source copy. Prevent a job from being copied to the same library during auxiliary copy operations. Erase spare media. Mark media to be erased after recycling. If selected, the media will be marked for erase when the media is recycled. Click Yes on the Confirm window. Please note that the erase spare media operation must be initiated to actually erase the contents of these media. This option is available only for tape libraries, and not applicable for to-disk, cloud or standalone libraries. Enable media refresh. We will skip this, as we have already discussed in our other video. Advanced tab. We have already discussed almost all the options in our other video, except for data encryption, as it displayed in secondary copies only. Preserve encryption mode as in source is the default option. This option copies the encrypted or unencrypted backup data on the source copy, as is, to the secondary storage. Re-encrypt data using the selected cipher enables the cipher list, so you can select one from the list. Store plain text. If selected, the backup data will be decrypted and then stored as a plain text on the secondary storage. Please note that when you select this option, data encryption with third-party key management server is not supported. Encrypt on network using selected cipher. When selected, the data will be encrypted on the network with the selected cipher from the cipher list, and then stored as a plain text on the secondary storage. Throttle network bandwidth is set in MB per hour. Setting bandwidth at the storage policy level lets you limit the network throughput consumed by an auxiliary copy operation. The default limit is 500 megabytes per hour, but you can alter it based on the network bandwidth available in your environment. Audit tab. We have already discussed this tab in our other video. Once done, click OK. If you rewind back and look in the Copy Policy tab, under Backup Selection, we selected All Backups. The backup application did the math, and is asking if we like to continue with auxiliary copy of all backups, or from specific date. As this is synchronous copy, we would like to copy all backups. Hence, we select No. From Auxiliary Copy Schedule, select the desired option. For this video, we select Do Not Schedule. Synchronous copy created successfully. If you notice, certain information is handy to view from navigation pane like copy name, copy type, which in this case is a synchronous copy, status, if policy in use, or not, default library for this copy policy, default media agent, default drive pool, default scratch pool, basic retention, archive data retention, retained by jobs, extended retention, deduplication, if enabled, source copy, precedence of the copy policy, hardware compression. Right-click on the copy policy. We have already discussed most of these options in our other videos. Select Properties. You can promote this secondary copy to primary copy by enabling this option. Once you promote this copy to primary copy, it is like switching roles, and the primary copy will become the secondary copy. We will not do the promote test in this video. For this video, we will convert this synchronous copy to selective copy. Enable the option, Selective Copy. For this video, we will change the copy policy default retention of 30 days 1 cycle to 30 days 4 cycles. If you notice, by selecting Selective Copy, backup selection is changed from all backups to backups on and after. Data Paths tab. We discussed this in our other video. Data Path Configuration tab. We have already discussed these options in our other video. If you notice, under Use Alternate Data Paths, you do not have options like immediately or after an hours, like in primary copy. The resources are automatically switched to alternate data paths when options, either resources are offline, or resources are busy, selected. Selective Copy tab. Automatically select full backups at frequency can be all full backups, daily fulls, that is, the first or last full backup of every day. Weekly fulls could be the first or last full backup of every week, and by default each week starts on Friday. Monthly fulls would be the first or last full backup of every month, and by default each month starts on the first of the month. Quarterly fulls, that is, the first or last full backup of every quarter, and by default each quarter starts on January 1st, April 1st, July 1st, and October 1st. Half-yearly fulls could be the first or last full backup of every half-year, and by default each half-year starts January 1st and July 1st. Yearly fulls would be the first or last full backup of each year, and by default each year starts on January 1st. Advanced. This window is used to modify Selective Copy job selection period start time. Every X cycles specifies that the full backup after the specified number of cycles will be picked to copy. Every X days specifies that the full backup after the specified number of days will be picked to copy. Every X weeks specifies that the full backup after the specified number of weeks will be picked to copy. Every X months specifies that the full backup after the specified number of months will be picked to copy. For daily full rule and hourly full rule, the day starts on X hours, and by default it is 12 a.m. For weekly full rule, the week starts on. Select the starting day of the week, in which data is eligible to be copied, to the selective copy for a weekly full rule. For monthly full rule, the month starts on. Select the starting day of the month data, that is to be copied to the selective copy, for a monthly full rule. For each time period copy the first full backup, specifies that the first full backup of the selected time period will be copied from the source copy to this copy. Last full backup. Select most recent job, If there are no more full backup schedules in current time period, specifies that the last full backup of the specified time period will be copied from the source copy to this copy, if there are no future full backup schedules within the same time period. Wait until the current period is over, before selecting a backup for this time period. Specifies that, after the end of the specified time period, the last full backup during that time will be copied from the source copy to this copy. Please note that this option is not enabled if the source copy has 0 cycle retention, or is configured as a spool copy. Do not automatically select jobs. Select this option so that no backups will be copied to this copy, unless they are manually selected for copy. In this case, you can manually select the jobs that you want to copy from the source copy to this copy. Rest all tabs we have already discussed. Once done, click OK. As we have selected Selective Copy, and changed backup selection to Backups On and After, we must confirm the changes. Click Yes. You see the copy type has changes from Synchronous to Selective. We will end this video here. For more videos, subscribe to our channel, if not already done so. Do subscribe for more videos. Thank you.